Welcome. This is Anna Bevan Gravely with NCFREE, and I'm joined by Tim Heath. He is running for House District 46 against incumbent Brendan Jones. So Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Sure. Good morning, or maybe it's good afternoon now. I'm not sure where it's located, but yes, again, my name is Tim Heath, and I am the Democratic candidate for the North Carolina House of Representatives, District 46. My background basically is I'm an education. I'm over 40 years of coaching and teaching on pretty much at the elementary level, middle school, on through college, where when I retired as director of intramural sports and an adjunct lecturer at Fayetteville State University in the School of Education. Athletics has been my focus for a lot of my life. I was fortunate to have some athletic ability that paid for my collegiate years, and didn't leave there with a lot of loans like a lot of those young people that are leaving there today. So politics, never thought that this would come my way. It wasn't on my bucket list, but sometimes somebody else has a calling for you that you don't have. Better quality of life for my community.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. I think that's a really great introduction. Good to get to know you a little bit better. I myself am a huge fan of athletics. I played sports all through school, and even in college. So big fan.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into the questions. Have you ever owned a business or been in a management position within a business? If so, please describe that experience.
I have never owned a business, and I've never been in a management position within a business. Basically, I guess if I were to go back to my grassroots part of it, my business acronym goes from start when I cut grass as a little boy, and I did that during the summer and had my lawn cutting service. But as I moved up, no, business was not the field that I went into as I pursued my lifelong goals of my profession. Now, I do have some experience in the nonprofit sector. Yeah, I worked nonprofit, and actually I'm still a consultant with a nonprofit that I was employed by in the early, right before Y2K and on up through the late 1990s and up to today, where I serve as a consultant. And this is a nonprofit that basically focused on grassroots communities and giving voices to people who didn't have a voice, providing educational training, doing some things, with the kids recreational wise, and just trying to, as I said, improve the quality of life that otherwise in a rural community, people don't think that there are opportunities out there, or don't see the opportunities, and sometimes people have to let them see those opportunities and bring them to them, and that's what I did with my nonprofit.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. Would you say that the current level of federal and state taxation on businesses is too high, too low, or just about right?
Well, currently North Carolina has a very competitive tax rate, something like 2.5%. And keeping taxation at a competitive rate for the federal and the state government, helps aid our strong economic growth. And especially in times like this, the government should be given even more proactive in giving businesses the best rate that they can be given, so they can recover from, we're in this COVID-19 situation. So yes, I think that certainly the level of taxation right now is a competitive tax rate.
Okay, okay. Do you feel is it appropriate for state and local governments to offer incentives to private businesses in consideration of locating, expanding, or conducting business in a specific location within the state?
I believe it is extremely appropriate for state and local governments to offer incentives to private business. However, I believe that along with those incentives, should come a commitment to a long-term economic growth, which, helps the citizens in that particular, community, wherever they are, have a confidence that establishment is going to be there, and they can invest in that establishment over a period of time. Mm-hmm. And also, coming from a new economic era, it's important that strategizing the pursuit after the businesses that are conducive to one of these regional strengths is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Describe, in your opinion, what the key principles of free enterprise on our economic system are.
Well, a free enterprise economic system stands on the principles of freedom, mm-hmm. and opportunity. Mm-hmm. The idea that citizens have no limitations or censorship in creating enterprise, that's a priceless privilege. As a result, we live in this wonderful system where opportunities are created every day through the freedom of innovation and creativity and hardworking entrepreneurs. Upon being elected, then I would focus on helping the disadvantaged areas that have not had the benefits of entrepreneurial development and economic growth. And I would look to add strength by creating more small business development support and long-term, mm-hmm. sustainability, for those existing businesses. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. In your opinion, and this question is really very timely with all the conversation that we're seeing on a national level with COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and on a state level, we're having lawmakers gather to try to figure out what the solutions are and how best to address populations and businesses that are really hurting in this really catastrophic halt to normal business activities. In your opinion, what is the appropriate balance in the scope of federal and state regulatory requirements on businesses? And what, in your opinion, is the best way to balance the appropriate protections without impugning economic vitality?
Well, in my opinion, the enemy of freedom and opportunity is the uncontrollable growth. Mm. When growth becomes to the point where the freedoms and the opportunity granted can be dwarfed or lost. Mm. Therefore, appropriate balance involves enforcing the regulatory requirements at the place where the opportunity may be hindered and the American economic investment sacrificed. Placing these regulatory constraints in a place helps keep business in America compared to losing them to foreign, mm-hmm. Competitors.
Yeah. So will you explain a little bit more? You said, and I think I'm going to mess it up, but you said something about growth being the...
uncontrollable growth.
Yes, uncontrollable growth. What do you mean by that?
Well, uncontrollable growth, in my opinion, it's where policies and rules and regulations are not in place. Mm. Therefore, they'll, a corporation or business or whatever can move to a point where because even those that are, let's say, corporations, mm-hmm. even in corporations that are going through this crisis now, I think, if they would have a little foresight, yeah, they want to put people back to work. I understand that, and I'm ready for that to happen. Like most of us are. But at the same time, when people aren't working, mm-hmm. you've got to provide a means for them to make their families, to provide for their families, because these same people are going to be the ones who are going to be spending the money and investing in that corporation mm-hmm. that you want help from. So it's like a cycle. Yeah. And I think a lot of times our corporate world doesn't understand that wages and things like that are kept at a certain point, and we have to fight like crazy to get wages increased. But the people are going to, in turn, reinvest these wages right back into the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just,
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, thank you
about
very much. That helps explain what you mean by uncontrollable growth, definitely for sure. And so, Tim, if elected, what are your top 3 priorities as it pertains to the business climate?
Well, rebuilding public education opportunity through offering early advanced technology, entrepreneurial opportunities from K-12 all the way up to the university, having experienced young people and taking them from their informal education years to the formal education years and seeing when they grow into professionals. You can see gaps that are not being met. So I would like to fill those gaps to make sure we put a better product out there for the workforce. So rebuilding public education opportunity by basically, addressing those gaps, expanding Medicaid and providing affordable health care for everybody.
Yeah.
I live in rural North Carolina, the rural part of the state. And, our hospitals are closing. People are getting sick, but they can't afford to pay the bills. So what are they doing? They're not going to the hospital, And so this is a health issue. Whereas if we were to expand Medicaid, this would help the hospitals, this would help the citizens. I think it's a win-win situation for all of us. And then, this pandemic recovery, I tell people since we've been in this that the world will never be the same again after this situation. So we've got to be proactive in how our business is going to be handled. How is education going to be affected? You see a lot of people working from home now. I can see that being increased. More people, providing, saying, hey, I can do my job at home. I can see businesses saying, okay, get it done at home. Education, face-to-face, how is this thing going to affect our day-to-day face-to-face interactions that we have with one another? And then other aspects of, health. So some kind of recovery bill where we educate people to the point where, please understand, things are changing. And it's not going to be the same again. And we've got to prepare for that. And we've got to educate our people for that. And they've got to have confidence in knowing that the leaders have foresight to put in place policies and procedures and these things that are going to help our families along the way.
Yeah, I think one thing you said that really stood out is how life is not really going to be the same again. And I think that there's something to that. I think we're seeing a lot of change and a lot of expectation of a new normal, and trying to anticipate what that new normal is going to be is probably going to take some time. So I think there's definitely something to that. So thank you so much for joining us and being willing to talk to NCFREE and our community. Where can we learn more about you online, on Twitter, Facebook, wherever?
Well, I have a website. You can go to www.votetimheath.com and you can learn more about me, Anna.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Enjoy.